Hi everyone! Today we're going to be trying something a bit different. Now, we all know and appreciate how much colouring helps with mental health and relaxation, but I've been wanting to expand into other creative pursuits to further relax and distract me from my thoughts. So the only problem is my ADHD brain wants to do a million things, yet I only manage to actually do about 1% of that. Resincrete is something that I've wanted to do for ages, but I have been a bit put off both by the harmful chemical content and what actually seems to be a very temperamental medium that can quickly go wrong if you don't get your ratios absolutely spot on. Now, the temperature of your room also plays a factor. Humidity can affect the curing process and it can take days to dry, which in a busy house with teenagers and a dog racing around would likely get covered in dust or knocked over before it had a chance to dry. All this, not to mention pesky air bubbles ruining the finished piece, which is a very common problem. Basically, I want to do it, but I'm wary of every little thing that can go wrong. So I wanted to make it easier on myself by starting with a foolproof type of casting process that still allows me to create things out of moulds, but doesn't have harsh chemicals or so much variability in the results. I found Resincrete by JDiction on Amazon, which is an easy to use, non-toxic and eco-friendly casting medium that needs only one ingredient adding to it, and that's water. So as well as that, the chance of air bubbles is greatly reduced and your projects can be demolded in just half an hour. So it's safe to use, doesn't require a PhD in chemistry to mix, and dries in the time that it takes to watch an episode of Fleabag. Perfect. I got in touch with JDiction and they very kindly sent me this starter kit to try out, so we will see if this is as easy and user-friendly as I hope it will be. Like all of my reviews, this is unpaid and unsponsored, so I'll be as honest and unbiased as I always am when reviewing a product, good or bad. So let's have a look what is inside this starter kit. So we open it up and apparently there's everything that you need to create from start to finish, apart from, of course, the water. So we'll have a look what we've got. First of all, I can see that they've put 3 moulds in here, small, medium and large. So we'll get those out. These are silicone moulds, so they're really bendy and flexible, and I guess it will be easy to take out the creation that you've made when it's cured. So we've got a heart that has like diamond edges on it, and we've got a flower that has indented edges. So maybe this will be a coaster or maybe a trinket tray, something like that. And then we have this big one, which it kind of looks like a jelly mould. And I'm guessing, again, that will be some kind of jewellery tray or trinket tray with a scalloped kind of edge on it. So there are the moulds. And here we have got, first off, a measuring spoon or scoop. So I guess we'll use that with our Resincrete powder. Then we have these little bottles, which I'm guessing are coloured substances to change the colour of the Resincrete, because I believe that it comes kind of like a white chalky colour, so you can add a few drops of these in and change the colours. I suppose you can also make different colours, maybe get an orange out of this, a green out of these. We will give it a go. Then we've got what I assume are some gloves to be handling this with, but it is non-toxic and eco-friendly, as I said, so not too fussed about that. Then we have a pot of wax, which I am assuming, a lot of assuming going on here, that this will somehow seal the piece. So that's that. And then we have not 1 but 2 measuring cups. You can measure out your powder and then measure the water and mix them together, because I think there's a specific ratio that we need. Then we have a spatula knife, so guessing that is to scrape out all of your mixture. Then we have got the Resincrete itself. This is a big bag. It said it's 1,000 grams, so a kilogram bag of the base material. And you can see on here it says 30 minutes to demold. And the ratio that we need is 10 parts to 3 parts. So 10 parts base, 3 parts water. So you need very little water actually to make this. On the back we have got some preparation steps. So it's saying prepare the Resincrete, measure the base and water by 100 to 30 gram, and then pour together in a mixing cup, stir vigorously for about 60 to 90 seconds, and then you can add your pigment while you're mixing as well as that. So it said it's only for mica powder, alcohol paint and acrylic pigment. It is not suitable for resin pigment. So this isn't really a true resin product. I think it's going to be a little bit more like plaster of Paris, because I don't think you can make this clear. It's going to have at least a white sort of chalky colour to it. It's not going to be clear like you can make resin clear. You pour the mixture into the mould, tap the edges of the mould and then shock the mixture lightly to remove the bubbles. I think shocking the mixture is adding heat, whether that's by a blowtorch or you know, some sort of heat gun. But apparently, looking at research that I've done of this product, you shouldn't really need to do that. Bubbles disappear quite easily. Then you just wait 20 to 30 minutes to demold. So yes, it says you can mix together the pigments to create any colour, so that's handy. Pigment should be added at maximum of 2% by weight of the total mix. So you don't need a lot of pigment, because then that will start to mess with the proportions that you've put in. We've got the ratios again, which seem very easy. You know, it's all done by grams, not volume. So that should be very easy to measure. And we've got all of our measuring things on the side of here already. And then there's just some warning labels, but as I say, it is non-toxic, so should be okay. And then finally, I've got another pair of gloves. Finally, there is some, I believe that this is a very fine sandpaper. So that, yeah, abrasive paper, waterproof, and you can then sand any sharp edges from your creation. So that is everything that is in the starter kit box. So I'm going to pop all that back in for now, and then we're going to get straight to actually creating something out of this. I'll use one of these moulds. Maybe we'll do a little heart first, see how that goes. But I do also have some Christmas moulds that my very good friend sent me. So we will be trying a bit of a larger piece as well. So I'll put all this away, I'll go and get the water, and we'll start mixing. Okay, so I think I've got everything that I need. So first of all, let's measure the powder. So I've got my scale. It says to be done in grams. I'm just checking again. We need 30 grams of the mixture, 30 grams of the powder, and then 100 grams of water. So I'll pop this on here and make sure that our scale is back to 0. There we are. And then we will start scooping the pigment. It's not the pigment, is it? It's the powder. Getting mixed up already. Okay, so let's scoop some of this in. So what did I say we needed? Base to water. 100 grams of the base. So a few more of these scoops. I'm doing this for the very first... I'm doing these for the very first time with you, and that's why I'm not sure what I'm doing. Made a bit of a mess, but that's to be expected with me. Just keep scooping into, oh, 99, 98. A little bit more then, because I don't want to go wrong just by not putting an extra couple of grams in. There we go, 100 grams. So that is the powder. Then we need 30 grams of water. So I'm going to take the powder one off. Let's just reset it. Pop another one on. Make sure it's back to 0. There we are. And then 30 grams of water. So I've got my trusty Pyrex jug. Now I don't know how much water 30 grams is. Oh, that's literally nearly it. It's staying, oh, there we go, 30 grams. Right, so that is how much water. It's nothing. It's about a fluid ounce of water. So it's not a lot whatsoever, especially when you look at the amount of powder that we're putting in. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And then I'm going to add the water to the powder, and we'll start mixing. Now I'm not entirely sure how long you have to play with this before it starts to harden, so we're going to go quite quickly. I've got some pigment to add in as well, so I'll put all of that water in there, and it seems like nothing when you look at the powder. I had to double check that I was getting my ratios right. And we'll use the spatula to mix. So you see what I mean about it not being clear? Like you can get clear resin that you can put things inside of, like gemstones or sequins or flowers or anything that you want, because it comes out clear. But this is going to be a solid off-white colour, I think. But it feels really nice to mix. Like I say, I don't know how long we have got until it starts to harden, so I'm trying to be as quick as I possibly can, but still make sure that it is all completely mixed and there's no lumps and bumps. I'm just reading, yeah, it says 60 to 90 seconds to stir it. It's got to be smooth, flowing and free from lumps, and you can add the pigment, so we're going to do that. It's looking really smooth, and it is quite liquidy. I know that resin is quite thick and it can be difficult to manipulate into moulds sometimes, but this seems very watery, so it should fill up all of the areas of the mould without too much effort, and it should be quite easy to pour as well, I think. So I think I've been mixing for about a minute. Let's put some red pigment in because we're going to do the heart. I'm not sure how much I'll have left, so I've, oh great. So I've put the flower mould out as well. Should be wearing the gloves, but I'm not concerned. There we are. So I'll put some red in. Oh, I don't know how much that is. I'm just gonna squirt it in and hopefully it'll be okay. Let's see what happens to this colour. Maybe I've used a bit too much. I'm hoping that that won't affect the consistency or the curing process, but actually it's gone a rather lovely pink to match my backdrop. So we'll see when it's dry if it dries lighter or darker. I'm going to say it's going to dry lighter. Generally that's what happens, isn't it? So I've given that a really good mix. I'm not going to be using a flame if I can help it to try and get rid of air bubbles. I'm just hoping that my mixing will do the job. But yeah, it does seem very watery. So fingers crossed this is going to work out for my first time. A bit difficult to scrape off the knife. Could do with some kitchen roll or something to put this on. So I'll put that to one side, and I know I'm going to need to wash it before it hardens. Right, okay, let's get straight into it then. So let's pour into our heart mould, and this is so easy to pour. Look how fluid it is. I'm just going to try not to go over the edges. That looks like it's the perfect amount for that heart. However, I don't know if there's going to be enough for this mould, and I can't move it now. Oh, I can. There we go. Should I give this mould a try with what we've got left? I'm just going to have to, aren't I? And we will see what happens, and if it's not enough, then hey ho. Let's get that the spatula back, so we can get every little bit of mixture out. And it's not gone to the top, but it's not too far off. So if I can do this and not make a fudge of it, literally anyone can, because everything I seem to try, I was going to swear then, but I won't. It turns out not very good, let's put it that way. Okay, so I can't see any air bubbles at all. I don't know if you can, I can't. So I don't think it even needs any kind of, whatever they called it, what did they call it? Shocking. Strange turn of phrase, but I don't think it needs any. So no air bubbles as I can see. I think what I'm going to do is make up some more mixture for this mould, and then we'll let the three of them we'll let the 3 of them sit for 20 to 30 minutes and I will come back after that and we'll see how that goes. But I'm going to just nip off and get some more water, clean my my little jug out and my spatula, and come back and we'll just make some more up for this. I'm going to guess that the amount that we used for this is going to perfectly fit into this. We might have a little bit left over. I'm going to check whether I have any smaller moulds that we can maybe use for that excess. So I'll be back. So there was a little bit of a mishap there because I did exactly the same thing as I did when I poured the red pigment in, and the little ring that goes around the edge of these pigments fell out and into the mixture. So I had to dig it out, which is why I guess I should have worn the gloves, because now I've kind of dyed my finger. So I'm going to go and wash my hands, see how that comes off. But I should mention that none of this has any particular smell. I know that resin, you have to be really careful about ventilation and stuff like that, but this, I can't actually smell anything. So yeah, it's great in that way as well. We'll see what happens when I wash my hands with these pigments. I can already tell that these two are starting to harden, and it has been maybe 6 or 7 minutes since I poured them. So I can tell they're changing colour. They've gone a pale kind of peach colour. And yeah, I'm excited to see what they are like, but I can already tell it has begun to harden. So I'll go and wash my hands, I'll leave them for half an hour, and then we'll be back to see the results. By the way, the mixture that I did was exactly the same ratio, and it hasn't quite filled this mould. So if anybody is looking at this and wanting to maybe try it, purchase it, I would definitely make a little bit more of the mixture. So I think I would probably, it might be better, you know, to measure, fill up your mould with plain water, and then look at the ratios. And what am I trying to explain? Fill up the mould with plain water so that you know how much water you need for this mould, and then work out the ratio of powder that you will need. So the ratio is 100 grams of the powder to 30 grams of water. So I think if you're a better mathematician than me, you'll be able to work out that ratio, and you should get exactly the right amount for your mould. So yeah, back soon. Okay, so these have been curing for around 25 minutes. Now you might have noticed we have a backdrop change. And that is because while these were curing, I decided to go ahead and film the next part of the video to save time. And let's just say the pink background is no longer fit for purpose. You're in for a treat. So let's start undoing these then. I'm quite nervous to do it. It feels really heavy. It's amazing how different it feels when you've got all this hard material inside, because it really has changed the weight of it quite a lot. And it feels, tapping, it feels like it's done. It feels slightly moist, but not in a way, you know, that it's actually liquid. It feels just really soft and really nice, and there's no air bubbles that I can see. So let's start tentatively peeling this off. Okay, that's coming out really easily. Oh, wow. That is really nice. Let's have a look at the detail on the edges. So hopefully you can see all of this diamond detail. Yeah, it's done. You know what? I mentioned it earlier, plaster of Paris, and this really reminds me of plaster of Paris, more so than resin, definitely. But yeah, that is really, really nice. Now, I think it takes 24 hours to properly cure for the strength. So you don't want to be bashing this around. It's dry, but you don't want to be fiddling with it too much, because it's still not completely strong enough to do that. So we'll get started on this one. I gotta say, these moulds are really easy to come off, she says, and then cracks it. Okay. Oh, so yeah, this is like a trinket holder, maybe for your earrings or a bracelet or just little bits and bobs. I'm already trying to see what I would put in this just here on my colouring desk. I don't think I've got anything this small, but I'll certainly find something. Air bubble wise, I can see, I don't know whether you can, Let's see if we can get this to focus. There we go. So you can see that there are a couple of air bubbles here on the edge, a couple more there, very, very small ones. And again, it just seems to be those edges of the petals, if you like. But as for the main body of it, there are none. There are none whatsoever. So I'm really impressed. And it feels lovely. I keep wanting to stroke it. It's lovely. Let's try the big blue and see what happens to him. I'm quite nervous about this one, actually, because it's just such a big piece. Should I turn it over? I'm just trying to let the air in really slowly. Nearly there. There we go. Oh, okay. So completely clean mould. And oh, I love this. Do you know, I wish you could just feel it. It's the silkiest. Oh, it's lovely. So yeah, as for detail around the edge, you can see that we have all of these little balls kind of scalloped around the edge. Now remember that we didn't have quite enough mixture for the mould, so this bottom part feels quite thin. Obviously there should have been another, I don't know, 0.5 centimetre or something on there to make it stronger. But I mean, if you're not going to be tossing this around like a frisbee, that's great. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 air bubbles on this side. I guess I started pouring it from the middle, and I should have probably started to pour it around the very edges to make sure that these were completely covered. So we've got 5 air bubbles there. Or maybe I should have done the curing thing and shocked it. Not the curing thing, the shocking thing, and put the flame on it. I don't know. But the back, pretty perfect. Yeah, fantastic. So let's try and see if these need sanding. Let's start off with the heart because it's the one that was done first. Now there is a little bit of a rough edge on here, and I think if it was just me, I wouldn't even bother sanding that, but we've got to try out everything, haven't we? So I've got some of the sandpaper here, and I believe the best way to do it is to actually move the subject rather than the sandpaper. So like this. I don't know how much we'll need to do. Oh, that softened it up really nicely already. Ooh. Okay, that is really nice. There's no more hard edges on there. Let's try it with this. Look, it's left a little heart shape. Yeah, so quite sharp, quite sharp. I can see maybe this possibly cutting someone. I mean, it's not horrifically sharp, but it is sharp. So let's just give that a bit of a sand. Oh, that's far better. You won't be able to see this on camera, but it is. It's a lot better. The top isn't really too bad, but we'll do a little bit anyway. I don't want to, if I sand this, it's going to give it a texture though, isn't it? Yeah, it's going to have like a really rough, I'm not going to bother because I don't want to mess up that, the aesthetic of that. As for this one, I don't know, will this work? I'll just keep rotating it around. I don't know if that was a full rotation, but let's see. Yeah, I think it's definitely dulled it. It's definitely dulled it, but it's difficult with these being sort of scalloped. But that's that. So now we need to try the wax. So, I'm not entirely sure what wax this is. It looks a little bit like petroleum jelly to me, but I'm guessing that this might just stop the, you know, anything. I don't know, because it doesn't feel like it's porous, but it's got to be slightly porous, surely. Let's just do it anyway. And I don't even know if it's the right time to do it, or you should wait until it's completely cured in like the 24 hours, but I'm just going to do it anyway. That might have been too much wax. It's actually more liquid than you think. It looks really solid. Hopefully this will just seal any of the little air inlets, I guess. Got to be careful though when you do it that you're making no streaks. So I'm trying not to. Oh. I don't know if this is going to give it a shine or if it's just going to protect. I think probably you'd want something like a resin varnish if you wanted to make these glossy. But the wax does go a long way. I've not re-dipped it yet and there's still plenty on the brush. The only thing is trying to get to all the nooks and crannies and hold it at the same time. I don't really want to put it down just yet. Right, so that's that one waxed. I might leave the others unwaxed and just see how this looks later on. I don't think there's a smell to this. No, there's no smell to it. So to be honest, it looks very matte already. So it maybe is just something that seals the material, I guess, and doesn't really create a gloss. But there you go. So I'm going to put that to one side. And yeah, we'll move on now to my own creations where I decide to try and make up a different ratio of liquid. You're in for a treat, put it that way. I'll see you on the other side. So we're going to try this snowflake mould, which is one that my friend gave to me. And I'm trying the measure out the water that's needed for your actual mould thing. So that's what I've done. I've put into this ratio calculator, which I'll leave the link for in the description. The ratio should be 30 to 100, and the water weighed out that fits in this is 89 grams. So when we click calculate, it should tell us how much powder we need for those ratios. Right, so if we need 89 grams of water, we need 296 grams of powder, so nearly 300 grams. I hope this is going to work out. Right, so move that to the side for a second. Let's get our things back on the scales. So water. Water was 89 grams. So it's quite a lot, really. Don't know if I've got enough water in here. Right, we need literally just a couple more grams. So I'm running to the tap, running back. Could edit this, but I'll probably forget. Okay, so 89, wasn't it? 87. Oh, 94. No. Let's try that. 89. Okay, fabulous. So we've got our water set out. Now we need to do our powder. So let's get that back to 0. And time for the messy bit. So we need 296.666666 grams. So let's go for it. I think this is going to be quite a lot of powder. I'm hoping it won't be too much for the container. Yeah, it might be, you know, because we've barely got 100 grams in there. 125. So it's worth noting that these can't take 300 grams or maybe even 200 grams of powder. So we have almost 200. Let's round that off. 202 then. Now I need something to put it in so that I can measure out some more powder. Bear with. Right, I've got a Chinese takeaway box. Never say that I come to these videos unprepared. Right, so 202 grams and we need 296. So let's say 294. Now it's probably not going to be spot on, you know, because there'll be bits of powder that's stuck to the cup, but I'm just praying for the best. Let's put that on 0. So that was 2, so we need 100, what did I say we needed? 94, yeah, 94 grams. I was absolutely terrible at maths at school, and anything to do with numbers just baffles me. I'm totally fine with English, absolutely love writing. Oh, here we go, 94, 93. Let's leave it at that, because I don't want to overdo it if we've already got some. So I think I'm going to have to mix this in here And there's powder everywhere, and it is certainly, well, definitely not for me, a clean activity. So let's get all the powder in here. That is a lot of powder just for one mould. So I get the feeling that you'll be wanting more of this very quickly into your adventure with this medium. So we have all that powder and just this much water. Let's give it a mix. I'm hoping that this is going to be the right amount for this snowflake, because if I've made far too much, it's going to be really annoying. But I've tried my best. There's just a lot of powder in here. Now I'm not sure what I'm going to do colour-wise for this. So we've got a snowflake. I guess we could do blue. Or we can dump in some mica powder and see what that does, just as a bit of an experiment. Because it said you can use mica powder in it. I don't know about proportions and things, so this is just off the cuff. But we'll shove some mica powder in there. I might even put a little bit of foil. I've got some silver foil, like, not silver foil like you use in the kitchen, but like you have gold foiling. I've got some silver, so that might be nice. And we'll put a little bit of blue mica in it. Don't you just love experimenting? I don't. I get scared that I've done it wrong. It's quite cool though, just to have a messy activity. You feel like you're back in primary school. You're peeling PVA glue off your hands. And I used to absolutely love washing out the paint trays, because I'd just get my fingers in all the paint. I guess it was like quite sensory. Mixing and mixing and mixing. I think we're getting there. Let's add some mica powder in. So I've got, oh, that's going to go. So I've got this one. It is ice blue. Again, no clue how this is going to turn out. And no clue of how much to put in. Maybe not that much. Let's see what happens when we mix it. Hopefully it's going to do something. I'm wanting it to be quite sparkly, and this is like a metallic powder. So, I don't know, it doesn't look very sparkly to me right now. It just looks like it's dyed the mixture slightly grey. Don't know whether I should use more or have used too much, but I can't really see any difference there. If we're going for blue, I guess I should put some blue pigment in, just to give it a helping hand in case that mica does literally nothing. And these are quite difficult to squeeze. There we go. Let's see what that does. Ooh. I like that swirl. I wonder if you could recreate that swirl on the actual piece somehow. Maybe just by dotting a little bit of pigment on the top and then swizzling it about. We could create that. Or just pouring it in like now as it is. I don't know. I can't see any difference to that mica-wise. Like, it's not looking shiny or glittery or metallic or anything. I almost want to shove some glitter in there and see what happens. Do you think we should? Let's go all out for this one. This is an experiment, and we must take risks in experiments. So let me grab some blue glitter, if I can find some. Oh, right on top of the pile. I don't know how this is going to work out. I don't know if it's going to halt the curing process or in some way. I don't know. Let's put it in. Because this is a kind of powder, I guess. And if the ratios are off, then I don't know. All we can do is try. I don't even know if that's enough glitter to make a difference or what, but I don't want to push my luck with it, because I do actually want this to cure and work and not be a waste. Right, so we have got that mixture. Oh, there's lots of glitter on the spatula. Let's try and get that off. we've got that mixed. It's looking sparkly, kinda. Put that to one side for a second. Again, I don't know how much time we have got to work with before this starts to cure. Just want to get into all the edges. No powder left at the edges. I don't know how much time we've got left for it to cure. So what I want to do really quickly is grab some of this silver foil and just dot that around the snowflake. So I think they use a paintbrush to do this. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Let's dot this in. And maybe it will be something really nice when it comes out. Maybe it will not. Let's just put some different bits of foil in there. I don't know how small you're meant to make them. I don't even know if the mixture will stick to the foil or whether the foil will just be left inside the mould. I hope not, because I've got to give these back. Right. Just want a little bit of this foil in each area. Oh gosh, it's either too much or not enough. And then it's all on the sides where it's not actually going to get any mixture on it. I don't know. Hopefully this works. I'm really wary of not leaving our mixture for too long. Right. Put that bit in there. We'll see what happens. We'll see if it picks up the foil or not. So, oh, this is getting thicker. I can feel it. We need to start pouring. Now I'm guessing that this volume of mixture would not actually fit back in the cup to pour it, so I'm hesitant to do that. But this is a bit difficult to pour with, this takeaway container. Anyway, let's just get on with it and worry about that after. Right, so everything's just moving around. I've got to move things out of the way. Okay. Let's bring in our mould. I'm just so concerned about this. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to transfer it bit by bit into the cup. Oh, actually, it'll fit. Oh, that's good. Phew. That looks like a lot of mixture for that, I've got to say. I don't know whether my calculations were correct on this. I know I definitely measured the right amount of water, 89 grams. However, when it comes to volume, is that not going to be like far too much? Well, if it is, we've got other moulds. Always look on the bright side. See, I'm not a trained demonstrator, as you can tell. Can you imagine me doing this on like QVC or something? Be sacked within a day. Right, let's start to pour. Ooh. Ooh. Don't pour it too quickly. This is going to be far too much mixture. I guess I should have calculated it better, but I don't know what I'm doing. So we're just making sure that it goes and fills up all of the barbs of the snowflake. But it seems to be like it wants to. Oh no! Shoot! I was watching this and seeing that it wasn't filling up, whereas I should have been watching. Oh my god! Right, okay. This is worse than I thought it was going to be. Right. It's clearly far too much mixture, so the ratio that I've used is totally wrong. Yeah. I am going to let that dry. Let's see if I can just get a little bit more, because I feel like it's, in areas, it's not enough. Oh my gosh, I can feel you all cringing through the camera. Right, you know, I'm right, I'm done with that. But we need to use the rest of this mixture. So what else can we destroy? Let's see. What else do I have? I've got a little snowflake, a mini snowflake. Where can I put this so you'll see it? Hopefully you can see it there. Let's quickly, I don't even know if we've got time for the gold foil, silver foil. Let's just put a little bit in it if we can, little bits. This stuff is really annoying, it sticks to your fingers. Because I'm really aware that the mixture is going to start curing. It already has, I think. Look at this. This is not even going to be flush. Oh no, it's getting really thick now. I don't even know if that's going to go into the right areas. Let me get my spatula. So I thought this was going to be foolproof, but I'm even more of a fool than I thought I was, clearly. I'm holding my breath. Right. It's not perfect, but it's going to have to do. I've still got tons and tons of mixture. Right, what else can we make? What else can we make? I've got a star. Just make sure that's cleanish. I've got a star. We're going to have matching, oh my goodness, it's so thick. We're going to have matching decorations in blue for this year. That's going to be the colour scheme, whether I like it or not, I think. I'm just really trying to get this used before it starts to cure, which it's already doing. What else do I have? Oh, I've got a Christmas tree. Do we want a blue Christmas tree? I think so. There's some dirt in there. Let's try this. Please don't have cured, please. It's coming so thick now. It's like wallpaper paste. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. I hope that you're all cheering this on, as well as looking in horror at the absolute mess that I've made. Come on, let's put that down. Where's my scoop? Come on. I'm not coaxing it out like a pet. Come on. I think I've finally gone mad. I finally cracked. You know what? That'll do. Right, I'm going to leave these to cure and then I'm going to come back and I need to go and wash this out really quickly because, I mean, it's really, really starting to thicken. Look at that. Can we get any more of this into the mould just to fill it up that bit more? Clearly, I'm an overfiller, as we've seen here. Right, okay, gonna leave that, come back when they're cured and see how they turned out with that silver foiling. Okay, it's the moment of truth for the disaster pieces. So I'm going to start off with the snowflake because it's what we did first. Now these have been curing for, I think, around 40 minutes. Oh no, wait, that's just some of the edge bit. That's going to be confusing now because I've got so much that's gone over onto the actual lip of the mould that I'm going to think it's breaking when it's not. But look, you can see how rubbish I've poured this. It's not gone to the edges or anything, but this is going to be quite difficult, I think, because of all the little branches in the snowflake. Let's see if I can get, oh, there's one side. I'm so nervous of breaking this, but you know what, I shouldn't be, because it's just an experiment and it kind of went wrong anyway. So who cares? I do, a lot. So it's not coming off too badly. It's just getting around all those branches and hoping that they don't snap. Now we have to see if that silver foil has remained on the base, which I think it may have done. Yeah. Okay, let's see how much of it's gone onto the actual thing. Okay, so some of it has, so that's good. But I feel like if we just wipe this, it would come off. Maybe that's what we need to do and we wax it. That will just seal it down. I don't know. But we used mica in this, didn't we? And I can't see any difference that the mica has made. I can see a few glints of glitter, but barely any. Probably should have put a bit more in, but we'll know for next time. Don't know if I like this. It's just, you know, it was a trial and error thing. Obviously we've got some excess here that I'm gonna have to chip away at, I suppose, but it feels strong enough. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, because it's not like, I mean, it's a decoration, isn't it? It's not like it's something I can use. But anyway, it was a first attempt, and now we've made all the mistakes, we know what not to do next time. So we needed that to happen, didn't we? Whoops. Right, let's go for, I think the next was the little snowflake, wasn't it? So we'll do that one next. And then we've got this little bit to, the hanging bit to come out, but I've poured it over the top of that, so we haven't even got like a hole to hang it with. Oh dear. Okay, so there it is. Let me just get off these little pieces. Maybe I can still sort of get through that. Oh, yeah, I can. So that was thin enough for me to just poke it through. So at least... So, I was going to say, at least I can still hang it on the tree. You know, I could super glue this, I suppose. I could super glue it. It's very thin. You know, it's really, really thin, this part of the mould. So I don't know as if that was a Resincrete problem or a me problem. I'm pretty sure it was a me problem. But yeah, it is what it is. And then we have the star. This one should be fine because it's really thick and it's really simple. Oh my gosh. Oh, it's got a little bit of silver on there. This still feels slightly warm. I think it must warm up when it's curing. But yeah, not too bad. We've got some bits there that were missed on the edges. And what can I do with it? I guess I can hang this one. I'm safe to do that. But you can see that some has been pulled out on the back there. Glitter-wise, there's more glitter on the back than there is on the front. So maybe this can be the front then. And it just kind of looks like, if we'd have done it pink, it would have looked like Patrick from SpongeBob, wouldn't it? That might be a good idea for next time. Now, finally, we have the big, thick tree. And the mould still feels a little bit warm. But it's been the time. So, you know, I've left it for the time stated. And we're going to stick to that. This is going to be so difficult to get off. I can already see it. Like, I don't know how you're meant to get this mould off without actually chipping the edge of each branch, because it's so tight. Oh no. Am I supposed to peel this off? This is... Okay, so I've turned it inside out. That might help just to... Oh, okay. Right, so that didn't work really at all. Let me just bring this up to camera. So this is kind of what it should have looked like, but more filled in. I think the mixture was too thick by this point to get into the very tips of the inside of the mould. It was too thick. I think if it had been that lovely runny watery consistency that the others were when I first did them, it would have gone into those little areas, but clearly it was too thick, and this was just a last minute attempt to try and use up that last bit of mixture, I guess. I wonder if you can put little bits of mica powder on the outside. So like, let me just get, let's see. So it's blue, right? So let's just get some blue mica. And I wonder if you brush it on and then wax it, would that work? Oh, this brush is really wet. It's got wax on it. Darn it. Oh man. Well, anyway, you can paint them, can't you? You can use acrylic paint, and you can paint them whatever colour you like. They don't have to remain the colour that you put them in, or indeed the white colour of the powder on its own. But, you know, actually that might not be too bad, you know. Let's get some more on there. Let's go to town. So this is obviously like super quick, super rough demonstration. I'm not winning any creativity awards here, but I just want to show you what this looks like. So this brush had still had wax on it, because I don't look what I'm doing. And actually it's making the mica stick really well. So this could be, you know, a good technique, dare I say it. Let me just show you this, look. So you go from like the flat and then, so shiny. I think I've created a new way to seal and shine up these pieces. Yeah, so once that's done, it will look beautiful, and it will it will hide all of the major flaws in this piece, I'm gonna guess. But yeah, I quite like that. So wax and mica powder. Let's get a bit more. I'm just gonna dip it in the mica. I think I'm onto something. So you're sealing and you are decorating at the same time. There's lots and lots of nooks and crannies in this. I wonder what this would look like if I did it on a flatter piece. You know what? We should try it with this piece. Just, you know, why not? So look at that. That is really, really nice. Really flat, really shiny. So we might just have saved that piece from oblivion. Let me go and wash this brush, and then we're going to do the same thing with maybe like a pink or a red on this, just to see what happens. So what happened was I tried to wash the brush and it will not wash off. I think the wax has created a stain on the brush that just will not wash off with water. So maybe I need some soapy water, but you can see that it's still a load of blue pigment coming off, and I've washed this and dried it thoroughly. So just be careful of your brushes. I guess my technique that I discovered was actually pretty rubbish, but I am going to do it anyway, because why not? So let's get this little trinket tray, and let me pull out some more mica powder. What have I got? What have I got? What's this one? Raspberry red. This could be good. Maybe I'll just do the bottom of this. Oh. Or I could just do the edges, but that might be a bit fiddly because it's going to go everywhere, isn't it? Oh, man. I thought nails were supposed to help with things like this. Right, okay. So let's get some wax on it first. And then hopefully the mica will just stick to it. Now, I don't know if this is such a good idea, because anything that you put in the tray is probably going to pick up bits of mica, because I can't really see this sealing that well, to be honest. But you know what? This whole thing, this whole activity, this whole Resincrete thing, it is actually really fun. Like, obviously I've made loads of mistakes, and hopefully yous can learn from those mistakes and not make them if you have a go. But it is really fun, and it's such a childlike, nostalgic activity. Even if you didn't, you know, do anything like this when you're a child, it does bring that back, and it definitely has served its purpose of getting me distracted from my thoughts, and, you know, giving me something else to focus on, and it has been a lot of fun. So I would recommend getting yourself some. Like, I'm not going to say it is the foolproof, easy process that I thought it was going to be, because I've watched videos on it and I've still made a ton of mistakes. So, you know, I'm not going to lie to you and say that it's super simple, but I think it's 100 times easier than actual resin would be, from what I've seen and heard. And with it being non-toxic, you can do this with your kids. Can you imagine, like, when you're in the school holidays for Christmas, and you've got the kids at home and you want to do some Christmas activities? You can do this. It's non-toxic. It's not going to harm them. And how fun will it be for them to actually create something so quickly? Because we all know kids' attention spans are like that of a gnat. This is a really quick activity, and I just think kids will love having something to show for it. And, you know, the whole messy bit, kids love that, don't they? I don't know whether I've put enough wax on this because it all seems to be clumping. I think I should just go in all in with the wax. So yeah, I'd love to know what you think of this, because it's like resin kinda, but it's also just like plaster of Paris, unless there are certain properties of plaster of Paris that I'm not aware of that make this very different. But the kit itself is really good because you get everything you need. You get 3 different molds, 2 different measuring cups. Really all you need is water and a measuring scale, which I think everyone's got in their kitchen. I don't know whether that's, oh, I've just brought it out of the light to see and it's really uneven. I've probably made a right pig's ear of this. But yeah, as a starter kit, I don't think it could get much better really, because it's got everything you need, including pigments. And you get quite a lot of the powder, like I say, 1 kilogram of powder, and also the packaging of the powder has a seal at the top, so you can seal it, make sure it doesn't get any moisture in there, because obviously that's a bad thing. So yeah, I've got to say, you know, 5 stars for what's actually in the kit. Whether or not you can make a good job of it is is a different matter. But you know, when I did these pink ones, the initial run, I think I'm just making this worse now, aren't I? When I did these initial pink ones, the mixture, I did it straight away and it was really smooth and fluid and poured out beautifully. It went into all the crevices, and I think it was just that second time I was a little bit too slow, and that's what made it really not work. So if you follow the instructions and you're quick with it, I think you'll be fine. But it's not going to be for everybody, but I think everybody could do it. All right, I'm going to leave that now and stop waffling. So just to show you in the light, it's really streaky. I probably shouldn't have bothered, but you know, this was just an experiment, as I keep saying, and I am not clearly a professional. So I really hope you've enjoyed watching this, watching me fail badly. Love this, love that. If you want to have a go at this, JDiction have given me a code for saving 5% on this box. So if you type in Resincrete 40 into Amazon as a code, it will give you a little bit of money off and you can give it a go. But yeah, I think other than that, all I can say is I've had fun doing it, and that's all that matters, even if I didn't get it, you know, perfectly right. So thank you for spending this time with me. I know it was something completely different to what we normally do. But yeah, it was fun, and I will see you very soon on Colour with Claire.